All right. Think I think we're alive, guys and girls and everyone who decided to join this stream today. All right. Um I'm going to have to excuse myself for my bad voice today. I'm basically still having cold for the last couple of days, so things aren't easy to talk. However, however, I'll try to do my best. I'll try to do my best here. Um, yeah, what do I start with? Maybe just showing my screen and starting with something that I believe is really interesting. There we go. Are you guys ready? Are you guys ready to see this? Because I saw it and I was happy what I saw. I'm gonna just play it. Just play it. It's 40 seconds, and let you guys enjoy, and then we can talk about it. That's my boy. That's my boy Ash. That's basically him. Yeah, I wanted to share the teaser that he just dropped, and yeah, I'm excited as well. It's gonna be something. I'm gonna say. I like what I see. I obviously seen a little more than that, of course, because have a special access to everything. No, but I wanted to share this. I want to also go through a couple of things before we get to this image right here that we eventually want to finish one day. But much like last week, I wanted to start with some things that I want to get out of the way and talk about really briefly. And if you hear me drinking, I know drinking and munching on things is annoying on the microphone, but I'm basically trying to keep my voice alive. So if that happens, just I'm gonna excuse myself, and you'll have to bear with it. But basically speaking, I think what you just saw could be described in a very almost only in one way. I think this is the only way to describe it.
Wow.
Yeah, that's what I think. Anyways, so Lost Boy teaser is out. Obviously, it's awesome, and I'm super hyped. I'm super stoked that it's happening. I'm super happy for Ash because it's a big achievement to actually make a little film. Second thing I wanted to talk about is there's some updates going on the site. I don't know if there's a way to show it, but there's a new homework uploader for those who are members of the school. For those who have signed up for Learn Squared, you're gonna be able to upload homework with a little better way. Check your email. If it's not in your email, it might be in your spam. Andrew did a great job sending newsletter about how it works, and you can try it out and see if it works nice or not. I think it has like a drag and drop opportunities going on and stuff like that. So that's that. Also, there's a few more seats for Michael Wrigley's design for production workflow mentorship, because he added some more, and there is a few more available. For those who don't know what that is, just click on any of those students' homeworks that's been uploaded so far and check what you can learn. What kind of stuff you can learn in that class. I think that this is a really epic class, by the way. I want to take it myself soon after I'm done with working on another one. I'm basically right now working on my apprenticeship with this little guy right here. If we go back to courses, motion design, that's another one I'm really stoked about. I'm actually doing homework for this, so that's pretty cool. And I wanted to share this with you guys because of course, it's Learn Squared is my digital baby that I'm parenting together with Andrew and Ash. However, I'm excited about it, so I wanted to share about that. I wanted to talk about that. Next up, I want to do some homework or homework uploader stuff here and basically go through maybe one or two works and give you guys some feedback. So I really encourage our students to basically upload some stuff here, and every now and then we're going to look at it and give you some feedback on those streams. So that's the thing I wanted to talk about. But one thing that I was asked, I think it was last week or maybe 2 weeks ago when I was streaming with Ash, someone asked about our opinion about the Microsoft Surface Studio. And obviously I haven't used it. I haven't tried it myself. So bear in mind that this opinion is just based on what I see on the screen. Some of the data that is being produced here and stuff like that. And just basically weighing in a most unintelligible way that I possibly can. One thing that was interesting that when this thing was released, I saw that Surface Dial stuff, and that was kind of interesting. I don't know if it's going to be a gimmick or not. I personally use keyboard and pen on my Wacom Cintiq, so I'm not really used to like dials and shit like that. I don't know. I would have to try it to know if it's really that helpful. For me, it looks like a gimmick. But one interesting thing was when I saw this dial, and then I saw, like, I think a week later, or it's actually this is from today, Dell just announced, oh, we're going to do something similar. And then they have the dial as well. So I don't know. I don't know what to think about that. So it's kind of interesting. But it's interesting that there's competition, finally, some competition going on for what Wacom is already doing and been doing for ages. Now, I think I like the Mobile Studio Pro a little more just from looking at specs. Although looking at the graphics card, that's probably not best choice compared to what I believe Surface Studio has. I think it's like, yeah, it's one of those older generation cards, but it is a faster one than this one right here for sure. Now, question is whether that's the final spec. I believe there's some other specs right here. Then and you might have more choices. I'm actually curious. A graphics card, I think, is very important. Actually, there we go. There's, I guess, a new one, the new series for, but that's the Quadro. Here's my take on Quadro cards. Obviously, they're more stable. They have better drivers. They're overpriced for what we need as artists. Just saying. So I don't know. It would just have to test it out. Also, product type. It's all in Japanese. Damn, it's interesting. Overall, it looks like the same thing. I don't know what's the resolution here. This one has better resolution. It's a little larger. I know Cintiq has like 8 times more pressure levels almost. It's 8,192, and I think Surface had like 1024. And I've never used the Surface 2 or Surface 3. I can remember the other ones, the little mobile products they have. So I cannot tell whether that's good enough or not. But it definitely has better pressure sensitivity in terms of painting, so it will probably give you better results. Now, the question is whether you see a difference after 1,000 or not. That's something I don't know because I've never tested. Maybe when I'm going to have my hands on, I'll be able to say something. But just wanted to touch upon that. My biggest concern is, I don't know whether it's on cable. Like this is obviously this stands on your desk. This seems to be more portable, and but the question is like how long the battery lasts and if it's a battery or if it's like what the connection is. Let's actually find out. I don't want to waste too much time on this. You can actually research it yourself. It seems it's the outlet connection. There's actually a battery there too. So battery life up to 6 hours, which means it's probably gonna be 2 hours when you work. So up to 6 hours when you're doing nothing. That's probably what it is. It's similar with like when you buy iPhone. Oh, it can hold the battery for 2 days. Yeah, if you're just lay it on the ground and it sits there for 2 days. That's basically what it is. Um, I'm curious. I'm actually curious. It's something that I'm probably not gonna buy because I don't need it for now. Have my Cintiq works perfectly for what I need. If for whatever reason I need to be more mobile, then I'll think about it. But it doesn't seem so. I work from my own studio, so I don't think that's going to be needed. And then obviously it all comes down to like the lag on when you use your pen and stuff like that. So I'm curious. I'm gonna look for reviews, see what people say. It's gonna be interesting to see. All right, let's get to this thing here, and then we can go back to the painting because it's more interesting than me talking about tech. I'm absolutely noob, an idiot, and I shouldn't be talking about it. Here we go. Let me see. I'm just gonna pick something. Let's pick the last one right here. I know some people mentioned that there's when you upload stuff, then when you upload work and you want to upload new work, it ends up being somewhere on the bottom. There's something we're gonna work on to change it. But for now, I'm just gonna pick and grab what's new, and then maybe for the next one, I'll prepare myself a little better and look through the uploads that were there before. So let's see if I can paste it in right here. Should be able to. There we go. All right. So I'm basically just flipping it back and forth. It's not a bad start, I would say. It's pretty cool picture. It's pretty clear to me what's going on, and that's the first thing you want to see when you look at an image. You want to know what the hell is going on. If you don't know what's going on from the first glance, then that's the problem. If anything, I would try to get that guy stand out a little more. There's two aspects of this image that I would want to discuss also, but first thing you would want to do is probably get this guy to be more visible because it's kind of hard to tell. He starts to blend with the background here. There's two ways of doing this. You don't necessarily have to make him brighter or darker. I would try to make him just give him more saturation, maybe. Change the hue slightly. That should do already wonders. And then maybe another aspect could be if we can make some of the highlights that are hitting the, or it's not really highlights, it's actually reflections that are hitting the costume here. They probably would be brighter, slightly so. I don't know how much. You would have to look at proper references maybe, but it definitely can be a little brighter over there. So that alone kind of brings it more more contrast. I'll make it even brighter too. I don't know how far I would go. Maybe this far. I'm not sure about the little birds and whatever that is, some kind of magic. I would personally not do that. I'd rather make it as simple as possible. Some kind of like weird menacing looking figure. Maybe make him look and face towards the knight himself, Maybe make the opening here like this. I don't know. I'm just trying to figure out what would be more interesting. Um, so that's some of the ideas I would work on. Maybe what we could try is maybe also make him less expressive and just sort of like this weird, creepy looking posture that is just sort of like emerging slowly from the ground. That could be interesting too, because then it's not just like, oh, it's just a figure. Now it's just like, oh, there's something creepy about that guy, you know. So maybe his hood would be more narrow or something. I don't know. I'm just experimenting right now. I don't know if that's the right direction to go, but maybe it is. Maybe it isn't. I don't know. Definitely make him face your character a little more. Also, who did that? Let's see. Luis Mira. So yeah, there we go. And second thing is your shadows are black and your highlights are white. Something that you would probably want to avoid. That rarely happens in nature. There's usually some color. I've discussed this, I think, on the last stream already. Uh, there's color of the light that comes from the sun. So definitely going to have a little bit of more warm tones from the sun itself. And then that going to be balanced by the color of ambient light, which would come from what I look at is basically bluish sky, but it's more grayish because of the clouds. I can definitely see there are clouds and it's still slightly hazy. So that's something you'd have to pay attention to and make sure that some of your ambient light is actually coming through. You have it here on a castle, but it's missing on the rocks, and it's, I don't know, like it probably wouldn't reflect on those rocks that much. So, but maybe let me just separate this layer real quick. But maybe the highlights from the sun here would be more visible, like on this part of the rock, for instance, just to give it a little more contrast. And then what I would do is also bring more color to the highlights themselves. So you could use like selective color for this if you already have that image and you don't want to rework everything from scratch. Maybe to just take whites and make them more yellowish. I don't know. Just experimenting with what could work. But you would have to separate that from from the background. Like maybe get the background separated and have this layer not affecting the sky itself, because that would be probably wrong. And I think if I double click this, let's see if that's gonna work. Not this. Probably double click that there. Crap. I don't know. I don't know if I can do it here. Actually, probably not. Let me see. Let me actually use channels for this. So what I would do is go to like one of those channels, maybe duplicate the red one, and then increase the contrast on that one, because I only want to catch the highlights here, and maybe actually get that sky out of the way. So I'm gonna make a selection and just make it black because I don't need it. Just roughly this, and then once I control click that layer, it's only gonna select the bright. It's gonna use it as a black and white mask. So it's basically I can basically apply this to my layer right here, and I'm just going to do it this way. So there we go. So it's only affecting highlights, and then we can go even further and make more adjustments. So definitely just bringing slightly more color. I don't think it will affect water though, so something to pay attention to. But yeah, just a little more color, and then in the shadows you would probably have a little bit of that blue highlight creeping in from the sky itself, you know. So some of basically just looking at the directionality of light, and directionality of light would be coming from the top. You already kind of have that. It's very dark here. And I think just for a separation, I would maybe make it like a very small gradient right here. It's almost like a lens effect, not too much of it, because that's probably gonna ruin the way it looks, but it brings that separation, just a little gradient. I think that's it. And there's a bunch of other things we could do here, but those are the major ones for me. So, all right, let's close this. Should be ready to go and work on some more imagery. Let me work on this image right here. Let's get back to this, baby. We want to eventually finish it, obviously. And let me actually go through the comments here, because I don't know if anyone was asking questions or not. And I want to make sure I'm here alone, forever alone. Longer teaser for the Lawrence Square Twitch. Let's see what else is here. Dude, the Surface Pro might be good for illustrators, but animating complex sequences in After Effects and Cinema 4D in one of these might be a pain. I agree. It's not gonna have enough power. It's here's the thing. All of those Surface Pros and Cintiq Companions and whatnot, they're good for sketching, good for like small work. I would probably never use them for majority of the work that I do, because I do so much more complex stuff that requires much more resources. Yeah, everyone is in motion graphics industry is switching to PC. I hear that's what's going on too. All right, Momo is going to look at the comments for me. Awesome, dude. Thanks a lot. It's gonna be much easier to handle this. Again, I'm a little sick here, so my voice is giving up on me too. And I try to do my best. Anyway, let's get back to this image. I've been working on this for a while now. I want to have it done. I'm saying this every week, by the way. I want to have it done. And I never have it done. But I'm working on it. I'm working, talking, and discussing things with you guys, and making this as entertaining as I possibly can, and trying to do my best to focus on an image. I'm not a person that can do many things at once. I don't think many of us are. But I'm basically, what I'm trying to do is have a meaningful conversations when I can, discuss things that are interesting to you guys, and also do work at the same time. So something has to compromise, and usually it's the amount of work that I can do within the stream. But that's fine. That's all right. It's good. I'm at least doing something. I'm trying to share as much as I can here, though. Let's see. So I want to add this. I'm looking at the escalator. I want to kind of have it finished, this part right here, because it's right in front of the camera. It's right in front of your face. Right at your face. Obviously, it has to be done in the perspective. So I have my perspective helpers here, my little grid lines. I know there are like apps and plugins for Photoshop that do a better job than this, but I don't really need that much complicated stuff here. All I need is just a few extra lines just to help myself out with getting the right thing in the first place, like the right lines in the right places. And that's the only thing I care about over here. Maybe for more complex scenes, I would maybe go ahead and try to use that plugin. I'm trying to do my best also to be as accurate with this as possible. If there is if something is slightly off, I'm not going to cry about it either. Like, I just want to have it as close, but it doesn't have to be like super duper perfect. You know what I mean? So just as close as possible. And let's see. This is probably where this is going. Also in perspective, it'll be more squeezed like this. I don't think it'll be reaching out that much, because otherwise, if I make it reach out like this, then obviously it's out of perspective already. Even though it's kind of following the lines, but I have to take the perspective into consideration in terms of like how long this would be as well, based on where the camera is placed and whatnot. So I'm trying to do, I think this is more or less where this would be. More or less. And I might just make things easier and move this little thing over here and then delete this lower part. So I don't want to like spend time in adding lines. It will be wasted time, I believe. Again, this is not like the most important detail that you see in this piece, in this whole image. If it will be like really important part, then I'll obviously spend more time on this. But for now, it's just sort of like fixing. It's almost like fixing the texture, making sure everything works more or less, and then that should be good enough. Yeah, there we go. This works already. And let's see. Does it need? It's probably need a little bit of adjustments. There's like a little paper layer that I have in texture that I might want to add. You know, sort of something that is laying on top of it, which I already had in an image. So why not following it up on this? Let me make it a little brighter too, so it stands out a little more, and you can see that it's definitely covering that little area right here. I'm gonna use different brushes for this. Little ambient occlusion shadow kind of creeping in under the paper, and then some kind of stains on top of it, so it doesn't look like a clean paper stuff. Maybe some like elements like here. Let's see. That could be added on the separate layer actually. So I would make a layer, actually gonna make it bigger for now, because this is already sort of like zooming in really closely, and then go in and add, let's see what we can add here. We can add drop shadow, I believe, and then make the opacity 100%, make the distance maybe like 3 pixels. That works. And then you just like, you want to have that effect without using a texture. Just do something like this where you have the drop shadow, you add little dots, stuff like that. And then all you have to do is make a new layer, then select those two, including the one that we just been painting, and then merge them together. And once that's done, all I do is like go squeeze, and I can put it on top of here. And then just do little edits. Make it smaller. Maybe increase the sharpness so it feels like it's a nice sharp texture. Maybe add some more smaller ones. So you can just duplicate back and forth and do some little adjustments and stuff like that. Maybe decrease the opacity on some of them and some cloning, and now it becomes like this little pieces of gravel there, right, sitting right on top of it. And here's the great part, like we could basically take this and use it elsewhere too. So maybe it's sitting here too. Adding like micro details. It always adds to fidelity of an image. Even though it's something like you don't really see, but because we have like I think it's this part of a texture is from render, or maybe not. Maybe it's something I stretched really a lot. But adding like those little elements here and there kind of helps. Kind of makes it more interesting. Adds a little more details. And that's, again, something that can be painted and added. It's not really hard to do, but yeah, it might be tricky. As always, like, sometimes I was wondering, like, how do you add that stuff? And then I think I saw someone doing this. I was like, oh, that's pretty easy. So bear in mind, a lot of things that I'm showing here to you guys, it's something that I've learned from others. It's not like, oh, I'm so intelligent, I'm the best in the world, just figured out everything on my own. Didn't have to do any tutorials whatsoever. It's all in my head. Always been. So smart. That's bullshit. That's not true. I'm not that kind of person. I learn everything from everyone, and it takes time. It took me 12 years, or maybe 15 years, to get where I am. So don't be fooled by appearances. Don't be fooled by the fact that, oh man, he's so good. Or maybe I am. Maybe I'm not. But like he can paint. He can do this and he can do that. Like, yes, I can. But it took me a long time, and I didn't have much resources to start with, so that was kind of harder. It's much easier to do it now. If you would want to start learning now, then I think it's the best time because there's so many resources like Learn Squared. Where you can learn a lot of stuff and you can learn it from the best, from professionals, from people that work in the industry, that work in films, games, and, been there and done a lot of things that we're doing. So everything that like I'm showing right now, everything that I'm doing on the screen is what I use for work. So what you see is if you can apply that, if you can learn anything from that, that's what you could use for work too. So, because that's how I work in this industry. And I would say looking at the credits and things that I've done so far, I could say with conviction that I think it works and it works well. Yeah, so as you see, some little details, just adding little details here, just making sure that this whole area feels right. There's a lot of trash here, obviously. I want to fix this parts right here. And I've been doing this layer here in the reference layers. I actually have to move it back to dirt and shit, basically right here to this folder. Have everything organized. Don't have it so that it's not organized. So, and there was some pieces that should be on top of it too. So I want to make sure that that's true. Now, question is, how can I make this happen? I'm looking at the escalator. All right, so this should be, I'm going to make it easier for myself. I don't want to mess up with the layer structure that I already have. I basically want to make sure that this part right here overlays on top of that new layer that I've created. So I'm going to just mask out that area right here. Boom, there we go. That should do it. And then right underneath, all I need to do is sort of like extend the shadow, and it's going to be irregular because it's there's like little lines and dips going on here, so it's not going to be like a regular shadow. It's actually going to be irregular right here. I want to make sure that I'm consistent with lighting on those things. Even though it's a small details, you still want to be as consistent as possible. So, and then because this is a new layer, I probably want to have this sit on top, like a little slight under shadow right here. So there's a little more separation. It feels nicer. And then right on top of this, on the clipping mask, I'm probably going to add some gradients. I want to make sure that also it only affects this area because I was using those linear gradients. So, but I want to only affect this area right here. and maybe not as much. This is probably good enough. So little details, little small things here and there. As you can see, it makes it more interesting and more realistic because we're basically removing the blurred out, obsolete textures that are basically making things look not that well. So let's see. There was some questions here. There's a few questions here. Do you ever feel like you need to work in 16-bit or higher in Photoshop when doing this type of work? Probably never, unless you do some high quality print work, which is something I don't do. I don't do like big posters and photography prints of, I don't know. I think 16-bit. It's only gonna be useful if you have like, I can imagine you're using like super pro camera, like maybe even medium format, where you can make those 8,000 pixels photos that capture the great dynamic range. Like there's a really deep dynamic range of an image, and like when you see the like photos of products like beer or like expensive watches that are not done in 3D but are basically like high quality photographies of objects, and when you see them on billboards, they are usually done, I believe, in 16 beats. I don't know. I haven't worked in that industry, so I might not be saying the truth. I might be just pulling this out of my ass. Maybe that's what it is, but I would say only for like really high quality print work where the dynamic range really matters. Otherwise, no. 8 bits is enough. Let's see what else is here. What was the name of the PC building project? Ash or Maciej have been speaking about PC building project. I'm not sure what that is. I mean, me and Ash are doing like a short film project on Twitch, which I believe we're gonna be back to next week, which is called Mother. But that's about it. I don't know. Maybe there was some kind of service that we used. I know we used the PC parts picker. And then you buy basically everything from Amazon. I these days I don't build my own PCs anymore. It's a waste of time for me. I'd rather have someone to build it than Stephen Dolling or Dolling. I can't remember his last name. I'm super bad with names. My apologies. He works for Blizzard. He's pretty popular on Facebook too. He built my new computer, and it was probably the most smooth thing that I've done so far. Like, because otherwise I would have to spend like a day or two putting things together and making sure it works and installing software, and that takes away time from work, from family, from everything. And I'd rather have someone to do it for me. It's cheaper for me to pay someone to do it than do it myself. But not everyone can do that. If you can't afford to get someone to do it, it's better, because at least you're gonna be sure that everything is done properly, and you're not gonna get like blue screens and shit. So you don't want to be dealing with that when you're in the middle of a project. So, and then the last question that was here still, or that's not the last one. There's a few more. Do you convert the important textures into smart objects? So the handles and anchor points stay aligned to corners of the image. I don't. I know that's. Jama does work that way. I know a few other artists do it, but I personally don't. I don't just feel a need for it. Maybe when I reach the point where I need it, then I'll start doing it. But for now, it's just like I don't really need that. So no, not yet. And the last one that was here for so far, it was, can I be adopted by Maciej? Nope. Nope. Sorry. That's not going to happen. Too many responsibilities, man. Too much responsibility. Responsibility trends. All right, last question here before I continue on this. Why do you need such a workhorse PC for Octane? I thought you did most your work in Photoshop. Is it so that you can use shaders, lights? You would need to use less of that in Photoshop. I don't know who asked that question, but the answer is actually it's right here. JRJS. I'll tell you this: when I worked in Ghost in the Shell, almost 90% of the work that I've done was done in 3D. There's a lot of stuff that I do in 3D these days. And for that, I just basically need really, really strong computer. I work with V-Ray, I work with Octane. I do very heavy scenes. And when I was looking recently I was actually asking questions about it to you guys, and I think Jama was is on the same train actually still. I was looking into Blender, and I obviously want to try it and investigate a little more. But one thing that was already a red flag for me is some of you guys saying that it's pretty crappy in big, like handling big scenes, at least for now, because it's using like some old technology for the viewport, which for me it's already like nope. One of the reasons why I don't use Modo, even though Modo is an amazing software, it just couldn't handle the scenes that I'm working on as well as Max does, you know. Like 3ds Max for now handles majority of the things that I do. And it still can you know, get like really heavy in some areas. And that's probably because I am not as great in terms of optimizing scenes. But then again, I'm not a 3D artist. I am concept artist, illustrator. And for me, what matters is speed and also ease of use. And if I can remove myself from technicalities, that's what I'm always going to try to do. And optimizing scenes is one of the technicalities that I'm really not obsessed about. Although I try to do my best, there are some scenes that I just basically need to optimize every now and then. So I'm going to add like little pro optimizer nodes and shit like that. But that's as far as it goes. I would probably not go and like, oh, it's time for UVs, or it's time for this, or time for that. Like that's something I'm not dealing with. Let's put it this way. I'm not doing it yet. I don't see a reason to do it yet. We might start doing this maybe later down the road if I end up doing more and more and more 3D. We'll see about that though. There are still things that are done faster in 2D. Like this kind of scene that I'm doing right now, if I would want to build it in 3D, it's absolutely possible. It would take forever though. It would take way more time to make it all in 3D. I could get it 70% there, probably. Like get all the 3D assets that are possibly that I can possibly get, and that would definitely make things easier. But at the end of the day, I would still need to paint. I'm not on a level of, say, Grant Warwick, where I would go in and basically make all the shaders look fucking awesome. Like I'm not there yet, and I don't think I'll ever be, because that's not a focus of what I do. I've become more of a generalist than a specialist of the things that I do. So I have to be cautious where and how I spend my time. Although I like to spend a lot of time on learning new things and almost like doing it from a point of like building a mastery around it, you know? But I have to be cautious because there's only that much time that I have during the day that I have to share and spend between work, client work, learning new things, and family and all that stuff. So it can become like a drain. Like it can become quickly a rabbit hole that it's really hard to get out of when you get there. So to be really cautious about how I use my time. And I'm still running Learn Squared and helping you guys. So just taking priorities. And going off tangents here, really off tangents and talking, probably making you guys go to sleep. That's probably what's going on. Anyways, so I'm right now trying to get the flow is too low. That's something that's really annoying sometimes. Some of the brushes, that's something I want to actually say. Some of the brushes that you have, let's press F5 to bring the dialogue, are, I think you can make them, I think when you click this one right here, which is basically airbrush style build-up effects, which makes the brush behave slightly differently. But some of the brushes are considered or have that toggled on, and some others have toggled off. And there's two parameters here. One is opacity and one is flow. And sometimes you work on opacity and then you change the brush and you think you're working on opacity, but you're changing the flow. Like right now I changed the opacity. If I choose a brush that is considered to be one of those airbrushy styles, I don't freaking know, like this one, and I want to change opacity, but I'm changing flow. And I go back to, say, textured brush, which isn't airbrush, and then I want to change opacity, and I change it to 100. There we go, but the flow stays at 20, which is fucking annoying. I wish they could fix that. I think it should memorize which brush was using what. That would be the best case scenario. It's only as much as you can ask for. But sometimes, I'm painting like why it's not covering everything, and it's really annoying. It is what it is, though, and you cannot have everything in this life. Just have to be patient. Maybe that's a feature they want to add in the future, or maybe they just don't give a fuck. I don't know. I don't think it's as important. It is annoying. It is annoying. I think iPhones changed everything, guys, you know. We have those phones that are your computers, GPS, social media phones, cameras, like everything in one device. And we just became so bitchy about everything. It's crazy. Crazy. Because it was just take it for granted, you know? It's like, oh, I have everything on my iPhone. Can do everything. Like, oh my gosh, this Wi-Fi is so terrible. Oh my god, what is this bullshit? I'm flying on a plane and I don't have Wi-Fi here. I hear that. I hear that happen. Well, first of all, you're flying through the air. Just grasp this idea. You are traveling through the air. Second of all, you have a device that does everything that 10 years ago was not even possible, or maybe 15 years ago was possible, but you would have to have 10 devices, and they would probably not work as well as this one freaking thing. So we quickly become accustomed to how comfortable things are, and that's a problem, I think, because then like one thing in Photoshop doesn't work and you're like, god damn it, this piece of shit software, I hate it. That's true, guys. That is true. All right, let me see. I'm getting closer to get my escalator ready and almost done. basically making it dirty and darker in this area. So I'm covering what's the reminiscence of, or the leftovers of, the original render. So I'm basically adding as much details as I can, trying to cover as much as I can, basically. So it feels more cohesive, and because it's the major part right here, it's like in front of your face. You kind of want to have it detailed enough and stuff like that. So I'm just curious whether like darker color or not it's gonna work. So maybe less opacity, like just adding a little bit of that dust and stain, but still, it still remains the same value. I don't know. And there's one thing I've noticed right here, like this is too dark. So I probably want to have this to look brighter. Like that's what I'm gonna do. So I'm gonna just stretch this thing all across and then use some kind of, I don't know, maybe this brush right here, just to sort of like gradient out and merge it together a little better. Because I felt it was a little too dark in that area. Maybe stretch it even more. Like this. And then add detail over there. The little line over there. There we go. Because it was too dark. It was basically like this is this weird shadow here that comes from nowhere. Like this is really bright, so thinking global illumination, that's probably should be brighter. So that's basically what I'm doing here. Trying to unify it as much as possible so it doesn't pop out and it's like, what is this weird stuff? Cool. We're getting closer. This still needs some work, this area right here. It's sort of like daunting because it takes so much time to go through the details, but it's worth it. At the end of the day, it's going to be a really detailed picture, so that's what we're after. You can go back like a month or two from like 2 months ago. Again, this image, if I would just have a client commission and they would say like, we need this kind of image, it wouldn't take me 2 months. It would take me less than a week to get everything that we're having here done, and that's considering back and forth. Let's see, what else was there? Can we expect Showtime short movie or a comic in the future? Kappa. So here's the thing about the Showtime. I love this project. I wanna work on this, and I still have it in my mind. I'm every now and then chipping into like the script and story and whatnot. Here's the problem though. I have too many things going on in my life, and I just need to choose what things I should do first and focus on them, because I can only do so many things. And in order for me to work and finish Showtime, I need to clean up my slate first. So there's just priorities that I need to take, especially when once you become a parent, that is something you have to take into consideration, that there are more important things than your personal projects. And some people can do it better than me. I'm maybe shittier in terms of managing my own projects and whatnot, but for now it's still there. It's just, I don't know when it's gonna be done. I hope that I can find time in near future to actually push more effort towards it. And I don't know at this point whether it's going to be a comic or whether I'm going to work towards some kind of short movie or anything like that. I need to be excited about it too. So we'll see. Maybe it's going to be art book. Who knows? Maybe it's just gonna keep making images as they go. I want to keep doing that style. I love that style. I love the characters that I created there. I want to keep working on this. It's just like, I don't want to be making promises like, oh shit, I'm going to deliver this and that. I don't want to be in that position where I'm making promises on something that I know I cannot make it happen, at least for now. So I just have to focus on more important things for now. And those include Learn Squared, helping you guys and running this business together with Ash and Andrew, who is on the stream, on the chat, as you can see him. He's probably eating sandwiches. That's why he cannot talk. He's eating too many sandwiches. He's all about sandwiches. You actually should message him and ask how many sandwiches he ate today. I dare you to do it. I dare you. Do it. Do it now. Do it. Do it. Anyways, there was another question. Do you have any tips on organizing brushes? When I paint, I usually use 1 or 3 brushes, but sometimes I find a couple of brushes I like in the list of 50, but then forget which one it was, and I stop using it, and I waste time trying to find it again. I used to say less is more, but then when I right-click, you can see that my brush collection is fucking humongous, and I maybe use 5 of them too. So I don't think I'm the right person to ask about this. There's actually some brushes that are repeating itself. I just need to clean this up. I try to organize. At least I tried to organize them in a way. And by the way, there are some plugins that are coming out. I can't just tell the names. I'm trying to avoid as many plugins as I can in Photoshop, so that whenever I install or use someone else's computer, I don't have to I don't have that plugin. I cannot work on this anymore. So the way I'm trying to organize is by shape or by function. So in the first row, I'm gonna have round brushes with maybe some texture and some texture brushes, then more painterly ones, and then after that I have those weird scatter brushes, and there's sort of a line of them, and then at some point I don't even know what I have. And then I have some Jama's brushes here that I maybe use few of them. There's something interesting about some of them because I'm for one thing, this one painting in one area, this brush is going to be absolutely necessary, but it's only going to be in this one painting once a year, So I don't know. I'm kind of keeping, I need to clean it up. The best way would be, you can make sets of brushes, basically. When you click the gear icon, you can save brushes and replace brushes. So you can save a set that maybe for, let's say if you're sketching, you only have one set, something that you have to be, it probably requires more management. But let's say save all the brushes you have as one set, and then make another one and make it only from the brushes you feel like you're going to use. And you feel like they're the most important ones for you, and just keep those and remove every others. But keep all of your other brushes in a different set and save it as a different file. That way you're gonna have 2 files, and for whatever reason you're gonna need other brushes for that one painting. You can always replace brushes and then always roll back to the other set. So there's always ways of going around it. That's something I'm probably going to do myself. I actually have to, because it's pretty annoying. Right now, it's just fucking loading forever too. It takes time, and when I'm scrolling, it's lagging because there's just too many. Even on this powerful PC, it's too many. Too many. Yeah. Anyways, I think we did some progress, guys. I think we did a little bit of progress here. I'm gonna merge some layers just to show you how much was done. Just this. No, not much after all. Damn, I thought we did a little more, but oh well. Been talking a lot, answering questions. I think that's it. We're reaching the time where I have to end the stream because there's work waiting for me. So we're gonna keep going. We're gonna keep doing this next week and keep adding to it. Again, like I'm talking and thinking of details and sharing what I think and all that stuff. So I'm trying to share as much as I can. It's almost like this tutorial that takes forever and goes on and on and on. But next week I plan, if it works out, that's great. And I plan to have a stream with Ash, and we can do a little bit of mother project because I'm excited about this. I think we're gonna have some guests soon again too. I might have some of my own guests as well. Ash is inviting a lot of people too as we go, and we're trying to get like, as many interesting people on those streams as possible too. So, and what else? I think I've mentioned everything in the start, and at the end, we're just gonna wrap it up. Yeah, my brain is processing right now. Is there's anything that I wanted to say and I'm missing? I don't think so. If anything, I can always say it later. But anyways, this is ongoing every week. It's almost to the clock. So next week, we'll work on this. We'll work on Mother Project, and we'll see what's next. This is getting really close. There's only some little work on the escalator, and maybe adding some details on the booth itself, and maybe some of the corner areas right here. But otherwise, it's really close. I mean, you can clearly see how different it is from what it was. I'm maybe gonna open. There should be this file right here, just to give you an example how different it feels and looks. That was already some hours in, you know. So you can compare. A little more details there, a little more going on, way more going on. So, anyways, this was already some weeks in. So, anyways, we're gonna keep going. We're gonna eventually finish this. It's gonna be an awesome piece. It's gonna have a lot of details and stuff like that. Again, I'm showing you all the workflows and thinking processes and whatnot that I was using when I was working on The Last of Us here. Some of the stuff I'm talking about here also covered in more details in the Intro to Environment Painting class. So if you enjoy the way I talk and if you enjoy the way I explain things, and I mean this is way less organized, obviously. You can always look at teaser of what the class is or ask other students. I think other students can tell you whether it's worth to take the classes or not. I think that's something I always gonna rely on instead of trying to show you, take my class, buy my tutorials. Just ask students, ask Learn Squared students if they recommend, then do it. If not, then fuck it, do something else. Spend money in a better way. Let's put it this way. I just want you guys to be happy with your choices. So anyways, let's wrap it up. Thanks for everyone who joined me today live, and then whoever decided to subscribe. I don't know. It's probably something we want to add, like a little notification. Anyone who's subscribing, just to give you a little virtual high five for supporting the cause that we have here and supporting this stream. And yeah, thanks for being here online. Again, I think those videos after a couple of weeks end up on YouTube, so check out our YouTube channel as well. There's everything we do here eventually ends up being there. So even though we ask here for subscription, if you want to have access to the videos right now, like, I missed it, I want to watch it now, it's only $5 for full access for a month. I think it's a monthly subscription. But if you don't want, I can wait. I don't give a fuck. Just wait. It's gonna be free. It's gonna be free on YouTube anyways. So, anyways, thanks guys for coming. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you're gonna enjoy the rest of your week and the weekend. And see you next week. And we're gonna do some awesome work. And until then, bye bye.